2.
All right, welcome to a special edition of the Bleach Bangs Radio Show. This is the Hellion from the Hellion Rocks on here on Bleach Bangs, and we're going to be talking to, hopefully, Oz Fox and Stacey Blades of the new Vegas show, Let It Rawk. Who we got on the line, man?
We got Stacey. Fox is in the show.
Stacey, man, what's happening?
Doing well out here in Vegas now. I think the last time we spoke, I was in L.A.
Yep, you moved out to Vegas. A lot of my friends are moving out there. It seems like Cali's getting a little too expensive and crowded.
It's just, there's really not. I think the cachet of Hollywood's kind of worn off on a lot of guys, and there's just really nothing going on out there. There's just a great scene out here. It's a great city. It's easy to live out here, and there's a lot of fantastic things and opportunities out here. And I think the secret's out. So most of us LA guys are shooting across the desert and buying houses here, and enjoying all the everything that Vegas has to offer. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Cool. Yeah, I was out there in June and ran into some people, Paul Shortino and stuff like that, and it's kind of cool to see the scene growing there. So I'm glad that's happening.
Yeah, it's really budding right now. So it's a cool place to be.
And with the tourist trade there, it's actually a great place to start up a new show, which is what you've done, right?
Absolutely. Yes, exactly. And Let It Rawk debuts January 18th at Santa Fe Station Casino at the Chrome Showroom. And, we just released the press release and the announcement last week. And just everything's really, really amazing feedback we're getting on the show and the new band lineup. And I'm really excited to finally announce this, because I've been sitting on this thing for months. I've been working at it for months and very tight-lipped about it. So it's good to let the cat out of the bag,
Nice. I know when I posted about the press release, I got immediate feedback. A lot of people were so excited and positive about the show, and it's good to see that people that didn't get to experience the whole premise of the show is the 80s kind of hard rock hair metal thing, and people that didn't get to experience that are now going to have an opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. It's I kind of came up with the idea like around May, early summer. I'm like, not just an all-star cover band, but like it's a show, and I want to take people kind of back in time, and it's a serious show too. It's not a slapstick thing or like a Steel Panther thing. It's going to be very high energy, lots of visual images, and a killer set. And I can't wait to get started. And we're going to take it nationally. Hopefully starting end of February throughout the rest of the year. And couldn't be more excited about it.
Nice. Why don't you tell me about some of the people you've got involved with you in the show?
Yes.
Hopefully, Oz was supposed to call in, but let's see if he does or not. But go ahead and run down, man.
Yeah, it's myself, Oz Fox on guitar. We've got Jamie St. James on lead vocals from Black and Blue, who also was in Warrant for about 5-6 years. On bass, we have Sean McNabb and from Dokken, who was also in Great White and Quiet Riot, and been recently making some TV cameos on Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, right.
And we've gone through quite a few drummers in the last just month or so. A thing like this is because everybody's in different bands, so you're going to run into scheduling conflicts and people's time and stuff like that you're going to run into. So originally it was Jimmy Deanda, but he's quite busy with some other shows and projects. Brent Fitz from Slash and the Conspirators was going to play, but Slash is working on a new record, so Brett's pretty tied up with pre-production. So we were happy to announce Scott Coogan, who was free, another Vegas
Scotty.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great guy, smoking drummer, great singer, who, of course, played with Ace Frehley for 7 years, Lita Ford, Brides of Destruction.
Right.
Just joined forces to the Let It Rock show last week, so we're happy to have him on board. Yeah, it's going to be a smoking show.
Nice, man. Good lineup,
Yeah.
Looks like you got some top-notch players, and not only that, they're very multi-talented.
Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, we're stoked, and everybody's really happy to, everybody knows everybody well, and really happy to be part of this project. So, it's going to be great.
Like it's a tight-knit circle. A lot of the names you mentioned, I'm familiar with and have spoken to on several occasions.
Of course.
So it's almost like it's going to be a family gathering type of reunion thing.
Right. One big happy metal family, yes.
Right. So that, being familiar with everybody and everybody knowing the work that they've done, that should lend itself to the visual performance. Everybody should be happy and smooth, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I wanted to, the idea was to not just to see a great kind of all-star lineup, but to play a great, set list. I don't want to give the set list away, but there'll be a lot of other, visuals and stuff that we're putting into the production. And just to make it, I want people coming away from this going, wow, that was so much fun, and what a great band and great night of music, and that's the idea, and we're kind of building it, as a brand, as the Let It Rock brand. So what's great is there's so many avenues for this type of project, whether it be cruises or taking this around the world, because it is a show. So
absolutely, and those people, like I mentioned before, us, you, I, and the people that are involved, we lived through that Sunset Strip thing, and it was near and dear to our hearts back when everything was fun. We had a good time. Everybody got out of their houses.
Absolutely.
And truly enjoyed it. And I'm so glad to see that.
It's it's like with all the the Monsters of Rock cruise and the festivals. I'm like, well, how can I combine that into one show so kind of everybody gets to see guys from all those different bands performing a great set, and then throw a little Vegas production into it at the same time. So it's going to be cool.
So being is that we all came from that, what are some of your fondest memories of the times that we used to happen?
It was such a musical community back then, and whether you lived in Chicago or you lived in Florida or L.A., it was a scene. Every kind of city had their little Sunset Strip scene, and what's cool was there was such a camaraderie, but at the same time you had that competition. You were always trying to outdo the other band. Well, this band they just did this, and they got better flyers, and it just kind of built everything up, and everybody was kind of out trying to do each other with look-wise and make a statement, and that's why we say it was a movement, and because it was.
Right.
And just being really young at that time, and you could smell it. It was an electricity in the air, and I think that's why this type of music and this genre has survived, has come back. We're like cockroaches. We're not just we're not going away. It's a soundtrack to people's lives. And that's why I'm excited to being producing this show. It really is a soundtrack of people's lives, and some the best memories that we have of being involved in this scene, whether you were professionally doing it or you were a fan.
Right.
It's timeless music, and everything that was cool about it, and the fashion, and the music, and the songs, and the dexterity of the players, and I think we've lost that over the last 15, 20 years. As many great bands as there have come since the when everything changed with the grunge thing and stuff like that. But it's a timeless thing, and that's what I love about it, because there's really not much negativity to say about those times, because there were great times with great music. So
absolutely, and that's one of the things I missed was, like you mentioned before, was you'd see bands out with flyers and they'd try to make their flyer more noticeable. They'd be out handing the stuff out and talking to people, and then other bands would be out at other band shows watching what they were doing so they could get their game out. So there was a lot of support.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people got out of their house, and we weren't attached to cell phones either.
We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have computers.
Right.
And so I really want to take people on kind of a journey and let them escape into the music, for the evening, and keep coming back. So, we're going to take the show national, beginning of March or so, and the idea is to play a couple of times a month in Vegas. And, I don't want to burn the show out here with trying to do it on a weekly basis, because, there are other shows that do that, and you get into a redundancy factor, and then, you start losing your draw and stuff like that. So I want to give people the opportunity of seeing it, but want to see it again.
Yeah, that's true. Back in the day too, when bands were playing the clubs, they would play a show and they would make you think that this is the show to end all shows, and then you wouldn't see them again for months and months and months. And then when they came back, they tried to make that show even bigger and bigger and bigger. Right. So you wanted to go back and you wanted to do repeat. And they would come back with new stuff, and new merchandise. So you would have to get that new shirt. It wasn't tired over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
Totally. Yeah.
So that's awesome. So you said you're going to have a visual impact to the show too. That's great as well.
There were so many things. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, James. There were so many things. Think of all the magazines. Like we had Circus Magazine and Metal Edge. And, just even, as corny as the Aquanet hairspray, it was just like, boo, it was like the white and pink can and the blue can, and it was just, everything was just like flash,
Right, man.
So I'm going to incorporate, all of that stuff into the show, because it was such a visual time. I miss that. So I want people to... they're going to be visually stimulated as well as the show. Yeah,
that's the thing that I enjoyed was you went. It was a spectacle. You got yourself all dolled up. In your finest leather denim. Whatever spandex.
Right.
You got yourself. It was an experience. You got your friends together and you hung out before. You hung out after. The show itself was a show. It wasn't guys just standing up there. I'm not knocking. There's some really great musicians out there that if they added in the spectacle of a show, it would make it that much better, because that's our escape, man, from our humdrum everyday lives. People, you want to forget your bills, you want to forget your job, you want to forget all this tired stuff and get out and see your friends, have a beer or two, and hang out and lose your mind for a couple hours.
Exactly.
And we need that back in this
we
world.
We do need that back. I agree with you for sure.
So, how long is the show going to run? I mean, are we looking at an hour and a half, 2 hours?
It's roughly about 14, 15 songs or so, about an hour and 15 minutes or so. We're going to, get some merchandise together and stuff like that, and a few little souvenir things and stuff like that. So, I just want to keep it a high intensity show, and leave them wanting more, so that's the idea.
Nice. So this has been a project for you, and you said you started earlier this year. It came together pretty quick then, actually, right?
Well, I mean, I've worked on this for months, and I of course kept a tight lip on it. So it may seem that it came around quickly, but it was months and months, and lots of meetings, and trying to find the right place to showcase it, and kind of having the process of getting everybody on board and planning this for months to when everyone was free. So there was a lot that went into it. So because a lot of people, well, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? And I didn't want to let the cat out of the bag till the right time.
Right.
So I've been very hush-hush about this for months. So when the press release did come out, it was a sigh of relief last week. So it's like, okay, now we can talk about it.
That's cool. I know I read somewhere that there might be some rotating guests in the shows too, correct?
Yes, the original lineup was actually Eddie Owita from Twisted Sister, myself, Jamie, Sean, and Jimmy Deanda from Bullet Boys. Who were Jimmy and Eddie will still be involved. Jimmy has a lot of other projects going on. I'm playing with George Lynch.
Right, Shadow Nation.
Yes, right, exactly. And Eddie lives in New York, and I think they'll coming, flying, east to west coast was going to be a little bit tough for him. So I think, when we do some stuff on the East Coast or when Oz has striper dates and stuff like that, Eddie will be in the fold.
Nice.
So it's because it's still the show, it's just and I don't. Everybody's got, they're in their other bands, so they're going to have shows and stuff like that. So there'll be other people that will be infused into the lineup. Absolutely, yeah.
That's cool. I can't wait to see the surprises on that, and hopefully we're gonna try and make it to Vegas to see that show.
That would be great. That would be great.
We'll catch it on the road, but we're definitely gonna support and push this for you and get people out there.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think it's going to, coming back around the music scene, and it's coming back. It's in the hands of the artists now. I think we talked about it before. It's back where the grassroots of rock and roll started. It's owned back by the fans, and it's up to us to do our duty to tell everybody about what we hear, what we like, because, like it or not, corporate radio is corporate radio. They've got their playlists that they're going to play and artists that they're going to support. And so it's down back to us, the fans of music, and people in the industry itself, to spread the word, tell people about the bands they find, the shows they see and hear.
Exactly.
And I think that this is going to be a big push and a big help to getting people back out and seeing the shows.
I think so too, because it's the show's so accessible that you could more or less you could do it at a big festival with some of the other bands. You could do it on a cruise ship, and it's like we can take this to a lot of different places. But one thing I wanted to do is I wanted us to start it in Vegas, but not strictly keep it to Vegas. As great as that is, and I didn't want it to be a bar band. So it requires a certain venue to house it in, with video screens and everything like that. But the debut in Vegas, it's perfect. It's a perfect launching pad. And like I said, it's such a great rock scene here that it's there's a buzz in the air here, and it's exciting to kind of feel that again because as much as all of us toured and lived in LA for so many years. There's just, the Key Club is gone, and the Cat Club is closed, and there's just a handful of venues in Hollywood now to play, and it's kind of depressing there, and it's hard to kind of say that because it was such a mecca for so many years, and that's kind of long gone from LA, and it's kind of weird to say that, but it's the truth,
It is.
And that's why they're all everybody's moving out.
Right.
It's like, hey, I can live in a 2-story townhouse for $1,000 a month.
Yeah, it's cheaper. I know we went to Hollywood, the Strip, about I think it was last year, and on the weekend I saw it, and it was pretty dead. It was like heartbreaking to see that. There wasn't lines everywhere, and those famous clubs, were just kind of scattered. There wasn't a whole lot of people there, and it's depressing.
No,
you're right.
Yeah, I mean, the rainbow will always be the rainbow, and you can always relive your glory days at the rainbow. But what's cool about Vegas is there's new Vince Neil just opened up a new venue, very very Sunset Strip themed here called Tattooado, and there's a bunch of other great venues, but it's like you go to a show here and it's like you feel that community vibe, and you see all those people, and they people support live music here, and that really doesn't happen in LA anymore. I mean, yes, you'll have your if Black and Blue or somebody plays the Whiskey, people are going to come out to that show, but it's like overall as a scene, it's been dead there for years, which is too bad.
Yep, but we're going to bring it back. So we're talking
Yes.
with Stacey Blades. He's put together a show called Let It Rawk. Tell us the opening dates and the location again, man.
Yes, January 18th, the show will debut. Myself, Jamie St. James, Sean McNabb, Oz Fox, Scott Coogan. It will be at the Santa Fe Station Casino, North Las Vegas, at the Chrome Showroom. Tickets are only $17. And you can go to Ticketmaster and just search for Let It Rawk, RAWK, and get your tickets. And there's going to be some surprise jam at the end with a couple of different people from the Sunset Strip era.
Nice.
And just going to be a fun night, great music, visuals, and I was hoping to bring some extra production in there, but it's like, you got to, we live in a day and age where it's like, you want to do this, you got to get the fire marshal out, and you got to get the permits from the city, and this, it's crazy to think, you think back, James, and you think of Wasp at the Troubadour lighting a sign on fire with a flammable that lit the, I mean, can you imagine doing that in a club now?
I was actually thinking about Nicky when Nicky lit his boots on fire.
I mean, just even that. It's just like, wow, times have changed, so.
Yep. That's cool. So are you going to be offering any VIP experiences, man? Meet and greets and stuff like that as well?
Yes, we're going to be doing a VIP package. I'm just kind of in communication with one of the gals who works at the station casinos, and we're coming up. We're going to be advertising a VIP package with the show. Nice. That'll include a table and a meet and greet to come back and meet the band, and a little bit of swags too. And it'd be pretty reasonable price. I think it'll be about like $170, but that includes you get four tickets with that and a table. So
nice.
We'll be announcing that soon next week. Yeah, and it's a cheap ticket. It's like I think with tax it's like $21. We want just everybody to come out and have a great time and have some drinks and just let loose and, let it rock. No pun intended.
Let it rock. That's it, man. All pun intended, man. Let it rock.
Yeah, all puns intended.
Stacey Blades going to be putting out the show Let It Rawk. We here at the Hellion Rocks Bleach Bangs Radio are going to support this all the way. Do yourselves a favor, get out and see it, look for it on the road, and just get off your ass and go to a live show. And we're done.
Absolutely. Great. Well, I thank you so much, James, for your time and support on this.
Oh, you bet. We'll talk soon, man.
Yep, definitely. Cheers, brother.
We'll see you later.
Yeah, take care.